Walk into most homes and you will see the same pattern. Tables, chairs, shelves, and cabinets usually come from retail stores or large suppliers. The system feels simple on the surface. You choose an item, pay for it, and it arrives assembled or in a flat box. Behind that simple step is a long chain. Raw materials are processed in factories. Parts are shaped, finished, packaged, and shipped through warehouses. Retailers store inventory. Transport services move items across regions. Payment systems and scheduling services connect the final step to the household. This chain works smoothly most of the time. Because of that, furniture is often seen as something that simply appears when needed. But the system depends on many layers staying active. Manufacturing capacity, transportation routes, fuel supply, labor availability, and retail operations all play a role. When one part slows down, the effects move outward. Delivery delays increase. Certain designs go out of stock. Replacement. Parts become harder to find. Custom sizes or specific functions may not be available at all. In those moments, the distance between the household and the object becomes more visible. The user depends on external production decisions, standardized dimensions, and what happens to be available. The structure favors mass production. Homes, however, often have unique spaces. A narrow corner, a sloped ceiling, or a specific storage need may not match standard products. The usual solution is to search longer, wait, or compromise on fit and function. Because of these limits, people have explored different ways to reduce reliance on pre-made furniture systems. One category involves second-hand and reclaimed items. This reduces dependence on new production, but still relies on what is already built by someone else. Another category includes modular systems. These offer adjustable components that can be combined in different ways, but they are still designed within factory set dimensions. There is also the custom order route. A local craftsperson or workshop builds a piece to match a specific need. Structurally, this shortens the chain compared to mass retail, but it still depends on another specialist and their schedule, tools, and material access. Costs and timelines vary, and availability can change depending on local conditions. A different category moves the construction step into the household itself. Instead of purchasing a finished object, the user works from structured build documentation. In this format, the product is not a physical table or shelf. It is a set of plans that describe how to make one. The materials are usually common items such as boards, fasteners, and standard hardware. The process shifts from buying a finished object to assembling components directly. Within this category, there are several formats. Some people follow printed project books, others use digital plan libraries, some rely on individual diagrams shared online. The common structure is the same. The documentation replaces the factory as the source of form. Instead of receiving a completed object, the household receives instructions that define dimensions, parts, and assembly order. This approach works differently from traditional purchasing. The chain between the household and the final object becomes shorter. Materials may still come from stores, but the shaping and assembly happen locally. If one design does not fit, another can be selected. If a measurement needs to change, adjustments can be made before cutting materials. The household becomes the final production step. A typical build-from-plan system follows a consistent structure. It usually begins with a materials list. This outlines the type and quantity of wood, fasteners, and hardware required. Next comes a cutting layout. This shows how raw boards are divided into parts. Then there are assembly diagrams. These display how pieces connect and in what order. Some plans include different viewing angles to clarify joints and alignments. Step-by-step sequences describe the build flow from the base structure to the final frame. In this format, the plan acts like a map. It organizes the process into repeatable stages. Measuring, cutting, and fastening become the main actions. The user does not design every element from scratch. The structural decisions are already defined in the documentation. This reduces uncertainty compared to free-form building. while still allowing adjustments for space or material availability. One structural difference from pre-made furniture is scalability. A factory product is fixed once manufactured. A build from planned format can be repeated or modified. If a shelf works in one room, the same structure can be built again with different dimensions. If a piece needs to fit under a window or around a pipe, the measurements can shift while the overall layout stays the same. Another difference is timing. With pre-made furniture, the main waiting period is before delivery. With a plan-based approach, the waiting period is replaced by work time. The user schedules the process based on their own availability. Progress can pause and resume, without depending on external delivery windows. This format is not a replacement for all furniture systems. Some items still require specialized machinery or materials. Upholstered seating, complex mechanisms, or molded parts may be outside the scope of simple household builds. But for many structural items like shelves, benches, tables, storage frames, and basic cabinets, the plan-based approach operates at a scale that matches typical home workshops or small spaces. It can be useful for people who face irregular supply conditions, unusual room dimensions, or the need for gradual expansion. Instead of replacing an entire room at once, one piece can be built when needed. It also suits situations where transport of large items is difficult. Materials move in smaller parts, and assembly happens at the final location. By moving the assembly step closer to the user, this format shortens the dependency chain. The household relies less on finished goods inventory and more on general materials and structured instructions. The system becomes more flexible. It can adapt to different spaces, timing, and resource availability. For those looking into this approach, structured guides exist that document full build formats step by step. These guides usually include material breakdowns, part layouts, and assembly sequences for many different furniture types. One such format reference is commonly shared in the video description for viewers who want to examine how this system is organized in practice.